Gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank my friend from Pennsylvania for yielding me this time. I think this is an important bill. I do rise in support of it. I'm a family physician who has treated diabetes even in among teenagers, which is a sad situation when you consider the future of someone who develops diabetes so young. And certainly the future, the physical future is very important. But I'm also very concerned about the fiscal future of our youth. I'm very troubled today. A constituent came to me today from the oil and gas industry, was discussing with me the problems that already are emerging with the loss of tax incentives to invest in exploration that's going on in my district and districts around. So, Mr. Speaker, I think that looking down the line here at the fact that we yet have not developed an energy policy. I know my side of the aisle, we Republicans attempted to get to the floor a no-cost stimulus bill, which would have, I think, been very innovative and certainly revolutionary in getting our energy costs down. But having said that, as gas prices now are approaching $3 a gallon, and we're still in a severe recession, just think that even $4 a gallon pretty soon is probably going to be bypassed very quickly. With that, I just want to reiterate what my friend also from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise, has discussed as we move into the cap and trade debate, the cap and tax debate, if you will, where every analyst that we've been able to read sees this as a pure form of taxation, that the real underlying purpose of it is to raise more money for, I guess, social spending or perhaps single-payer nationalized health care spending. I'm not sure. But the net effect of that is just what we've seen with the incubator that we call Spain, and that is cap and tax has been in play there for 10 years. And what has been the net result? Well, today the unemployment rate in Spain is 17.5%. As Mr. Scalise mentioned, for every job that's been gained, the so-called green job, and again I'll get to that in a moment as to what a green job I think is supposed to be, there's been a loss of 2.2 real jobs. And I can assure you, Mr. Speaker, that in the state of Louisiana and surrounding states, that the jobs that we have today that come from the oil and gas industry are very significant jobs. They carry benefits, they carry pay easily in the 50 to 100,000 range in many cases. And the so-called green jobs that are discussed, if you look at Spain and their experience, what they found was that 90% of the green jobs were implementation jobs, that is construction. And of course, once the construction or implementation period is over, that job goes away. And so there's only left remaining 10% of the total green jobs that even become permanent jobs. But then if you look further underlying that, Mr. Speaker, what you find is that the green jobs are really a pass-through of taxpayer money into the system and then as payroll for these so-called green jobs. They're not a direct result of an exponential growth of a healthy economy or a healthy oil and gas industry. So as we move into this debate, and I understand it's being pushed pretty hard right now, we've got to decide, are we going to continue to put more taxes on our citizens in the way of higher utility bills, which will impact the poor and those on fixed income to the tune of over $3,000 a year of added electrical bills? Are we going to see our manufacturing have to leave this country and go overseas because it can no longer compete with the higher energy cost? What is really the question here? How are we going to have more revenue into our treasury by killing off jobs? And so I don't think this is any longer a theoretical discussion. I think we're talking about real people and real jobs. And all we have to do is to look at Spain and other countries who've attempted this. But just in summary, Mr. Speaker, I think that we need to be very careful about what government is taking over and what it's controlling. If you look to Western Europe, where socialism has been rampant for years, you actually see a retraction, a move away from that. Even Pravda made a statement recently that we're going headlong into Marxism, when in fact the rest of the world is pulling back. So with that, I thank you for your time in the discussion.
Gentleman from New York is recognized.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman from Pennsylvania have